All right, Mr.Taliaferro, how's everybody doing out there? First and foremost, before we go any further into this NBA Finals preview and prediction, I want to thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. Yes, we have reached our last preview, prediction, all that great stuff, X Factor for the playoffs, the 2019 edition. I thank y'all so much. A lot of y'all, this is your first time tuning into my platform. And y'all really gave me a chance, man, and to come into your homes, to come into your sports space. Anyone who loves sports, you know how private and reserved that space can be for people. We take our sports very serious, and I just appreciate you so much allowing me to come into your homes, do previews, give y'all highlights. This is our last preview. Obviously, I'm going to take care of y'all every game of the NBA Finals. That highlight will be out, I guarantee you, no later than 30 minutes after each game in the NBA Finals. I want to make sure I'm up to date on it. So thank y'all so much for the love y'all show me. I do have good news. If everything goes correctly, come next year, I will be able to do highlights for every regular, not say every regular season game, but every night of the regular season, I will be able to do a game or two a night, depending on the schedule. Maybe some nights I can do 4 or 5 games. Some nights when it's like a Thursday night TNT night, I might just do the 2 games, right? Like, so I do thank you guys for the love, and next season we're going to up the ante. We're not just going to do the playoff highlights. We'll be consistent in there for you guys throughout. So thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. That's my slogan around here. The time, love, and support is what I don't take for granted. Anywho, let's get out of this sappy mode. Y'all came to me for a reason. Welcome to the 2019 NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last series of what's been a pretty wild regular season, postseason, and now we know the summer of 2019 is expected to be everything, including iconic, right? So first and foremost, welcome to the last series of the playoffs. You know, the last few years we have been pretty much dependent on LeBron's greatness to give us a great series, but he failed the last few years. Let's call it what it is. This year we got a new guy, all right, vying for that top player in the game spot. To me, Kawhi Leonard has somehow, some way entered the running, and he has his Toronto Raptors in a position with home court in the NBA Finals by 1 game to now win a championship. He's a free agent to be this summer. It is expected that Kawhi will still leave the Toronto Raptors and head out west, where he does have a home close to the area in Los Angeles. But for the meantime, boy, can he go out with a bang, leading that Toronto Raptors team. The Raptors go acquire Marc Gasol at the deadline. They trade their franchise guy DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. They go out and acquire a couple of little small pieces here and there to go along with young guys like Pascal Siakam, who will be the most improved player of the year. You got a Kyle Lowry, a proven veteran, pretty much makes the All-Star team every year. But for most of us, we always say Kyle Lowry, good regular season player, but when you need him the most, he doesn't show up. But when you got a guy like Kawhi Leonard, you don't need Kyle Lowry to be great every night. You don't need Kyle Lowry to be good every night. If he can give me 2 games, I think that's what the Raptors have been consistent throughout the playoffs. They just needed about 2 games with Kyle Lowry for him to show up, and that has made a big difference. Now let's swing over to the 2-time defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors. Boy, has this been a season of up and downs. First and foremost, Steph Curry comes out the gate, and he's in MVP mode early in the regular season. He gets injured. Then Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, they go at it in Los Angeles as they're taking on the Clippers. We hear Draymond yell something along the lines of to KD, "We don't need you. We did it without you." The Warriors finally get it rolling as Steph Curry returns from injury. Kevin Durant's having a fantastic year. Draymond's overweight. He ends up losing 20 pounds right before the playoffs. Kevin Durant, the Warriors take on the Clippers in the first round. Good matchup. Kevin Durant averages 45 the last 3 games of the series. They beat a feisty Clippers team that came back from down 31 against the Warriors. We move on to the second round. The matchup that everybody had been wanting is the Rockets-Warriors. The Rockets, they're winning the series. Game 5 comes around. We're tied at 2, and Kevin Durant gets that calf injury. From there, a lot of people started counting the Warriors out. Steph Curry comes back into form, that MVP mode that we saw from him a couple years back. Draymond Green has stepped it up. Klay Thompson stepped it up. Guys off the bench have stepped it up. They sweep Portland, and we find ourselves with a very, very tasty matchup, especially without the services of Kevin Durant. Raptors, Warriors. NBA Finals. Wow. So what I want to do here is name off a couple factors that I think that will decide this series, and then I'll get into X factors on each team. So we'll do 3 factors overall for the series, and then I'll go into 2 players per team that I think will be the reason whether their team wins or loses this series. First and foremost, I think the biggest storyline of this series is, will we see Kevin Durant? I could go and say Jordan Bell is the X factor of this series. I'm not going to do that. All right, let's call it what it is. The biggest storyline of this series is not if Iguodala goes out and scores 30. It's if we see Kevin Durant or not. You know, I don't think the Warriors need a Kevin Durant against the Portland Trail Blazers. I don't think the Warriors needed a Kevin Durant against the Houston Rockets this year, right? But let me make myself clear. Kevin Durant would be very valuable in the finals against the Toronto Raptors. Bare minimum, he would force Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam to pay attention to him. One of those 2 guys would have to guard KD. I would assume it to be Kawhi Leonard. Pascal's a little bit young and a little bit of still got a little bit of milk on his chin. So I would assume Kawhi Leonard would have to guard Kevin Durant. Well, what does that do for your team? That means Kawhi can't guard Steph Curry. I'm assuming Nick Nurse, for a big chunk of this game, especially if Steph Curry gets it going, he's going to stick Kawhi Leonard at some point in this series to Steph Curry, as long as KD's not there. Well, if Kevin Durant returns, then we got Kyle Lowry guarding Steph Curry. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Steph Curry can get off any which way against Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry really struggles with point guard. By the way, Kyle Lowry's very good at drawing charges on point guards, but that's not Steph Curry's game. He's not going to be attacking the rim 20 times a night. He's going to stay at that 3-point line. Well, I look at Kyle Lowry as significantly slower than a Steph Curry. So let's not act like the biggest storyline is hiding somewhere. The biggest storyline, clear as day, is will we see Kevin Durant? He's already ruled out for game 1. I'm guessing he's probably going to be ruled out for game 2. I'm hearing he's probably not going to even travel with the team for games 1 or game 2. I'm guessing this dude's going to try to come back for game 3. If you would have asked me a few days ago, I'd say I don't believe Kevin Durant plays another game this season. But from what I'm hearing now, dude is trying his best to play it. He wants to be a part of this championship journey, specifically the finals. We'll see where this series is at after 2 games, and maybe that might alter Kevin Durant's decision to return or not. My second big storyline: if KD does return, who will defend him? I kind of lillygagged with this one a few seconds ago. If he does return, can Pascal Siakam be good enough on Kevin Durant? That's a big deal to me, right? Like, think about it. If Pascal Siakam can guard Kevin Durant, right? And KD can still get you 26 points, but if it takes him 18 shots, that's not an efficient KD. He's much more efficient than that. If Pascal Siakam can hold his own, they're both skinny dudes, but Kevin Durant is lethal, that changes this series dramatically. I mean, the Warriors' rotations get altered tremendously. Because think about it. I think the Raptors could put Serge Ibaka on Draymond Green and be okay. Ibaka's a big buff dude in great shape, by the way. He can do enough of a job to not let Draymond go off. Draymond's not going to have the series that he had against Portland. A lot of that's contingent on can Siakam hold Kevin Durant if Durant does return around game 3. If Siakam can stick to Durant, if we get Durant in this series, if he can just contain Durant, you can't stop a guy that's that great. And Kawhi, like I said earlier, is able to float around that 3-point line with Steph or Klay. Man, Kawhi can single-handedly take Steph Curry or Klay Thompson out of this series, period. So now it's a contained Kevin Durant versus a Steph Curry that might be out of this series, right? Now I like the Raptors' chances. That's pretty damn good. So that's a big storyline. To me, the last but not least storyline that will control this series is the battle of the benches. We got guys that have been really good in the regular season, and then we got guys that have been really good in the postseason. What do we get from each of these teams' benches, right? Think about it. Fred VanVleet was very good in the regular season. He's finally woken up ever since his kid was born in the postseason. He's made 14 out of 17 threes, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's really, really good. But throughout the first couple rounds of the playoffs, VanVleet did struggle. I like Norman Powell a lot. I thought he covered a lot of VanVleet's slack for the Raptors. This dude, second-round pick, has been phenomenal. His athleticism is not what I expected. I'm going to be honest with you. he has been a factor for that Raptors bench. You got him. Also, remember, the Raptors are only going to play Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka in their starting lineup. So if Ibaka comes off that bench, right? If Ibaka comes off that bench, and he is a factor. I mean, literally, he was a terrorist in game 5 and 6 on the boards, rebounds, putbacks. I mean, he was lethal, giving that Raptors a boost. Kawhi Leonard is trying to get 2 minutes of rest per half, right? He's trying to take a break at the end of the first quarter, a couple seconds into the second quarter, and obviously at the end of the third quarter, he's trying to get another break for a couple minutes and try to return around that 9-10 minute marker to close the game out. If Ibaka, Van Fleet, and company are balling, man, that changes this series 100%. Now let's swing over to the Warriors bench. Andre Iguodala still plays like a starter in this league. You know, he just does it in the playoffs now at this point in his career. He's all about championships. He sacrificed a lot, so he only really cares about the postseason. Here's the thing with that. Iguodala's on one leg right now. He had that injury coming out of that Portland series, and like game 3, injured himself, didn't play in game 4. Iguodala, if he can play like playoff Iguodala that we've seen, you don't know how this series could change. Iguodala could very well get Kawhi Leonard for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, right? Whoever has the assignment of Kawhi Leonard, if let's just say Durant doesn't return, I'm guessing it would be majority Iguodala, maybe Draymond Green getting a little bit of that action as well. Klay Thompson might see a little bit of Kawhi Leonard as well. Whoever has that responsibility of guarding Kawhi Leonard is going to need breaks. So if Iguodala can be a guy that can give Klay Thompson a 2 or 3 minute break here in the first half, that's big. Sean Livingston has been a non-factor thus far. Actually, Quinn Cook has pretty much kind of stepped up and been the more impactful player for the Warriors. Also, since Durant went down, Jordan Bell has stepped up. Looney has stepped up because that ball is moving around, and Draymond is facilitating that thing more to other guys who weren't getting looks. So, I mean, those are big factors. I really don't think DeMarcus Cousins is that positive of a factor for the Warriors, but I do believe he will be coming off the bench. I don't think Steve Kerr would insert him back into the starting lineup right now because he's out of shape, a lot of things, right? So he will be off that bench. If he could give me 5 to 8 minutes, I think the bench in this series is going to be pivotal. It's going to affect how Nick Nurse and Steve Kerr are able to coach. Do I have 5 minutes for Kawhi Leonard? Do I have 5 minutes for Steph Curry, Klay Thompson? This is a big deal. Now, I want to get into my X factors before I give y'all my prediction on both sides. I want to start with the Toronto Raptors, the underdogs here. My X factors are 2 guys. I'll start here with Serge Ibaka. Like I said to you guys earlier, Serge Ibaka likely going to come off that bench unless they decide to go small ball. I doubt that the Raptors do that. They're probably going to start Marc Gasol. That's why you brought him there. That's why you traded your guy Jonas Valanciunas for this moment. Serge Ibaka is one of those guys who's strong. He's super strong, but he's agile. He can shoot the 3 ball. And he hadn't been great shooting the 3 ball this year, but he's strong as hell. He can rebound with Draymond Green. He can contain Draymond. He can protect the rim. Remember, this dude was one of the top shot blockers in the game a few years ago. Doesn't have that type of athleticism anymore, but he's still super athletic. I mean, this dude is lethal. He's an X factor. And again, in a couple games in that Bucks series, you won't know it, but his little 12.6 rebounds, 12.8 rebounds were big buckets, man, especially in the midst. If you look at the Raptors, when they made those big runs against the Milwaukee Bucks, go look at some of Serge Ibaka's stat lines. He was important in those 26-4 runs, 22-2 runs. Ibaka was active, man. If I get an active Serge Ibaka, again, he wants a ring too. Don't forget, he was on that Oklahoma City Thunder team that lost to the Miami Heat years upon years ago, and he was injured for a couple of those Oklahoma City Thunder runs, right? So this means a lot to him too. He's one of these veterans who understands it's tough to get to the NBA Finals, and he might not get another crack at it. And if he knows what I know, if Kawhi Leonard is going to leave after the finals is over, this might be his last crack in his career. I expect him to play big time. Kyle Lowry, another X factor for the Toronto Raptors. Man, let me tell y'all this. Too many times, this dude is an all-star in this league. Too many times we give Kyle Lowry a break. And what happens is we're so used to Kyle Lowry being bad in the playoffs, we lower the expectations for him. So when he comes out and gives me 25 or 30, we're like, oh my goodness, Kyle Lowry was in play. He was in a great mode tonight, 25, 30 points. Well, that should be the expectation for Kyle Lowry night in, night out. Kawhi Leonard shouldn't have to go get you 40, 45 points every game. That shouldn't be his mindset. You do have another all-star on that team at point guard, a guy who's made that all-star team year after year. He gets paid big-time money. All right, so it's not time to feel sympathy for Kyle Lowry. He has a responsibility to be the all-star leader of this team, and I need Kyle Lowry to do his best at Steph Curry. It's a big deal if Kyle Lowry is aggressive. Y'all know what? The book is out on Steph Curry, right? Think about it. Every series the Warriors have been in the last 3-4 years, this entire run, really, the 5 years, really, Steve Kerr and company, they're looking for a shooting guard to stick Steph Curry on, right? Like, Danny Green will be that guy. I'm expecting Danny Green to get the start. Steph Curry is going to start out guarding Danny Green. That is a fact, all right? Trust me, there's no secret to that. Every series, the Warriors want to put Steph Curry on a shooter to preserve his energy offensively. It's a smart thing that Steve Kerr has always did. Now, Kyle Lowry is a big deal. If Lowry goes off early, right, that forces Klay Thompson to pay a lot of attention a little of that attention he'd rather be paying towards Kawhi Leonard. Your rotations change dramatically. If Kawhi Leonard's going off, there is no Kevin Durant. Now Klay's got to guard Kawhi. And Kyle Lowry gets it going, right? And I'm looking at this team. What maybe you put Iguodala on Lowry. I don't know what you do. But if somehow, some way, Lowry's speed, if he's attacking the rim, if it's a speed thing, and Steve Kerr is forced to put Steph Curry on Lowry, that's a big deal. Right now, the biggest thing going for the Warriors is Steph Curry offensively is free. If you really watch that Portland Trailblazers series, and I went back and watched a lot of tape, one thing that helped the Warriors out a lot was Damian Lillard was coming down court, and this happened so many times in the Warriors run. Damian Lillard was coming down court trying to be egotistical, and he's proved that he's the best point guard in the game, and he was guarding Steph Curry. All right? He trying to go at Steph. I mean, he trying to literally go at Steph on defense, trying to rip Steph, do all these things, take chances that he usually doesn't take. He was not the disciplined defender that Damian Lillard can be. He was going at Steph. And on the other end, Steph, as humble as he could be, no ego at all, he was just allowing Klay Thompson to guard Damian Lillard. Whoever it was, right? Like, he was like, look, man, I don't want to guard you that bad. I don't care about that little thing you got going in your head where you think you're better than me. Have fun. And Steph Curry was lighting Damian Lillard up, who was tired because he's trying to guard Steph. And then on the other end, he's got Klay Thompson or whoever in his face. I'm telling you, Damian Lillard was tired. That's the game that Steph Curry and the Warriors want to play. Tire out these guys, and Steph Curry has all the energy to close out a game in the fourth. Let Klay Thompson work with these dudes. Let him babysit these other guys. I ain't got time for it. I'm Steph Curry. I'm Stephen Curry. So Kyle Lowry's aggression. I don't need him to go give me 35 points a game. I got Kawhi Leonard. I'm fine. We'll put up enough points. But Kyle Lowry's aggression at Steph Curry. Steph don't like physical play. And one thing that the Rockets have did better than anybody over the last 2 years when playing the Warriors is got physical with Steph Curry. And that frustrates him, right? That's what I expect out of Kyle Lowry. Get physical with Steph Curry. Now, I want to swing over to two guys that will be important for the Golden State Warriors. The first guy for me is Kevon Looney. Look, man, Kevon Looney is, to me, a decent player in the NBA. You know, I know he doesn't get a lot of credit. I know if DeMarcus Cousins is healthy, he believes he should be the starter. Cousins is a good player in this league. Don't get me wrong. He's offensively one of the best centers we got when healthy. But the Warriors don't need offense. They got Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Iguodala. Maybe you got Kevin Durant as well. The Warriors don't need offense. They need guys that make sound decisions and don't try to do too much and got quick feet defensively. Kevon Looney is really good in pick and roll defense, man, and DeMarcus Cousins is really bad. I don't need a hero offensively in this series. I need somebody whose discipline is going to play their role. And what I like about Kevon Looney is he's playing his role defensively. Again, switching off. Can he guard Kawhi Leonard? No. But. He's disciplined enough. One thing I noticed in that Bucks series with the Raptors is if Kawhi Leonard got the switch and Brook Lopez ended up on him, he was going every time. Go watch the tape back. Anytime Brook Lopez got on Kawhi Leonard, and as he should, he was pulling up or getting to the rim anytime, exposing him, right? Now, Looney isn't a great defender, but he could stick to Kawhi Leonard off a switch and make it a difficult two or a difficult three-pointer. And Kawhi Leonard will miss a few of those shots now. So it won't be like Brook Lopez on you. I'm not saying that it's going to be like a great defender on Kawhi Leonard on those switches. but it won't be easy pickings. Let's make that clear. Looney is very sound defensively, and also, you know, Draymond Green, when he has the basketball in his hands, you know, he's looking to either pass that thing in the corner to Clay, look behind him and shoot that thing to Steph Curry, or if Steph Curry finding Steph Curry wherever the hell he's on the basketball court, or lob that thing up at the rim. Now, what we know about DeMarcus Cousins is he ain't got too many bounces left in his knees and his legs, right? He ain't got too many bounces in him. He didn't come into the league with a lot of bounces in him. What I love about Draymond, when he has Looney at the rim or a big like a Jordan Bell, whomever that can catch those lobs, he will find you 4 to 6 times a game. Just lob it up to you. And right now, to me, Looney is more valuable than Cousins. I don't have time to slow my offense down to let DeMarcus Cousins go to work. This is the damn NBA Finals. All right, you keep slowing that game down if you want to. Kawhi Leonard gonna mess around and take over a basketball game, all right? And then you're gonna let Marc Gasol feel good about himself. If you're the Warriors, you like the fact that you got Looney around that rim when they come double off Steph and then try to bring one over to Draymond, and then Draymond's got a free chase to the rim, and now the help side defender's coming over to get in the face of Draymond, and he just lobs that thing up so pretty for Looney, and he jams it home. Beautiful basketball that the Warriors play. It's tough to defend. It's really not a right answer defensively when Draymond is playing good ball. So Looney's valuable in this series to me. And last but not least, the last X factor in this series for me of the Golden State Warriors is Steph Curry. Look, I could go say, like I said earlier, Jordan Bell's the X factor. No, it's going to come down to stars. Steph Curry is the star among stars. Let me make myself clear. Steph Curry, you're on the verge of winning your 4th championship in 5 years. You have no finals MVPs to date. And if you go back and look at the stats from Steph Curry in the finals over these 4 years, you won't say he hasn't been a good player. But if you actually watch the games, and I've watched every NBA Finals game over the last 5 years, 4 years with the Warriors involved in it, Steph Curry hasn't been great for at least 75% of those games. He's had a game here and there where he showed out, a quarter here and there. But if you watch the games, you know like I know, Steph Curry has not been great in the NBA Finals. Many would argue that he's shrunk in the moment. He's had some bad shooting performances in the finals. Look, Steph, y'all the favorite even without Kevin Durant. I said the favorite. Y'all the favorite even without Kevin Durant. What's up? You the 2-time only unanimous MVP in league history. No KD for at least game 1, maybe longer. This your team. You've been, literally since KD went down, you've been balling. You killed Portland. What's up? Finals. It's on you. Prove that you the guy. And if Steph Curry averages 30, he will be the finals MVP. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You need at least one finals MVP in this historic run of your career. I can't look back and explain to my kids one day, yeah, Steph Curry, yeah, he was great. He was a great regular season MVP. He went to the finals. He got 4 championships. He ain't really getting no finals MVPs. But Dad, how was he this great player? He done it? I don't know, kid. He didn't show up in the finals. He was great in the playoffs, just not the finals. I don't want to explain that to my kid. Steph Curry can't control this series. He can. And if he's got it going, you can throw Kawhi Leonard on him if you want to, but there will be other matchups on the court that the Warriors can take advantage of. It is pivotal. Without Kevin Durant, it is 100% needed for Steph Curry to not lollygag on that court, but to be the most aggressive version of himself. The 2015, 2016 Steph Curry has to be around for the Warriors to throw their hands up in the air one last time and go back to back to back NBA champions. Now, with all that being said, to my prediction, I am picking, man, oh man. I'm picking the Golden State Warriors to win this series in 6 games. I believe the Toronto Raptors come out game 1 after a long series with the Bucks. They lose game 1. The Raptors gonna come back and win game 2. We'll be tied at 1 heading to Golden State. I don't know if Kevin Durant plays or not. Whatever happens, I'm giving the Warriors game 3 and game 4. I think that's when they show their will and they take over this series. Give Steve Kerr two games to kind of make up something on the fly and adjust as a coach. He's one of the game's best at it with the talent that he got. I believe the Warriors win game 3, game 4. They're up 3-1 with a chance to close that series out on the Raptors' home court. I believe Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to go out like that. I believe he's got too much pride. His playoff run has been too great. I believe he puts up a historic night in Game 5. The Raptors keep their season alive. But, that series swings back to Golden State for Game 6. The last game ever in Oracle Arena. I believe Steph Curry is ready. I believe Klay Thompson is ready. Draymond's ready. I believe Kevin Durant somehow comes out of the woodworks and plays a la Willis Reed. And I believe the Golden State Warriors, for the third straight time, 4 out of 5 years, I believe they hoist that trophy up one last again. And I believe Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors win their 4th championship in 5 years. And Steph Curry is the finals MVP. I believe it goes just like that. And I'm sticking to that prediction. Warriors in 6. Warriors in 6. Warriors in 6. I thank you guys so much for rocking with your boy. NBA playoff prediction, previews, X Factor. We did every series in the playoffs in 2019. Thank you so much for the love. I would love to know your prediction in the comment box below, because when I'm right, I usually go back after the series and troll some of my subscribers, all right? I do go back and troll people and respond to them just to get my rocks off a little bit. But anywho, thank y'all so much for rocking with your boy. If you watch this video in totality, you're a better person than me. And I thank you so much for the love. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
You are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now,
Mr.Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the triple B's. You can't do nothing but win.